I saw something today that you deposed one of Joe Biden's little assistants, Ms. Chung, and asked her about how she was squirreling documents all over D.C. What did you learn about Biden hiding classified documents?
Yeah, we learned a lot today. And remember, there are two investigations oversight committee that Jim Jordan's on as well that we're conducting Joe Biden, the influence peddling and also his mishandling of classified documents. We brought Kathy Chung in today for a transcribed interview, and I want to thank Ms. Chung publicly for working and cooperating with our committee and answering questions. We learned a lot. First of all, we learned that the documents didn't just start mysteriously moving around in December of 2022 or November of 2022, like the White House has alleged. She said this dates back to May of 2022, that the documents were moved from the vice presidency to at least 3 different locations in a personal vehicle.
Oh.
And why they were in 3 different locations, we don't know. They weren't stored behind any lock. One of the locations was in Chinatown. Another location was in the Penn Biden Center, which might as well have been Chinatown by looking at where their money was coming from. And that the White House has never been honest with the American people. Remember, we never would have found out about this in March of 2023 if someone hadn't leaked it to the press that Biden was mishandling classified documents. So the White House then came back and said, yeah, that happened in November, December of 2022. She just testified under oath that it happened in May of 2022. So there are more questions today than we've ever had. And this is ironically what the special counsel is apparently going after Trump next over. The next supposed indictment is going to be over his mishandling of classified documents. Look at what Joe Biden's done. We don't know how many locations he has. We don't know what those documents were. We're very suspicious that his son sent one of those in an email to Ukraine, to his buddies at Burisma, and yet we don't get any truthfulness out of the White House. This is another example of a two-tiered system of justice in America.
All right. So to summarize, President Biden okayed the raid on Mar-a-Lago for classified documents, knowing he had sketchy classified documents, and they were in Chinatown brought by Ms. Chung. Got it. All right. Congressman, thank you guys so much. Glad we cleared that up.
Congressman, yesterday you talked to President Biden's former executive assistant with links to Hunter about how those documents got into the Penn Center and others. You know, who was picking up stuff and who wasn't. What did you find out?
Well, I appreciate Ms. Chung for coming forward and answering all of our questions for 4 hours during a transcribed interview. What we learned was that these documents were transported from the vice presidency, from his office to the private sector in private cars. They went to at least 3 different locations initially. One of which was in Chinatown, the other of which was in the Penn Biden Center, which we're finding more and more evidence that it was almost exclusively funded by China. And there was no lock on the door. All the things that the special prosecutors apparently going to try to indict Trump on mishandling classified documents, Biden did, and he did it about 10 times worse. So, you know, this was very valuable information we learned yesterday. We still don't know what those classified documents were, and we're still concerned about one document in particular that was found on the laptop that Hunter Biden had sent to his cronies on Burisma in Ukraine. So this is another story that's not going away.
What can you tell us about that?
What can you tell us about that document?
Well, we know, and we've heard Ted Cruz talk about, there's one particular email from Hunter Biden that he sent to his people at Burisma. Burisma was the corrupt Ukrainian energy company that he was getting paid an excessive salary for. That was a government document. It was written like a government document. It could very well have been a classified document, but we don't know yet exactly how he obtained that document.
Isn't there a word for this?
When you saw the photograph of the top secret documents laid out on the floor at Mar-a-Lago, what did you think to yourself, looking at that image?
How that could possibly happen, how anyone could be that irresponsible. People know I take classified documents and classified information seriously. The best of my knowledge, the kinds of things they picked up are things that from 1974 and stray papers. There's nothing there. I have no regrets. I'm following what the lawyers have told me they want me to do. It's exactly what we're doing. There's no there.
It feels like there's there everywhere, Joey. You knew it, your lawyers knew it, and that's why you tried to keep this whole thing under wraps and had Kathy Chung do the dirty work, who, by the way, wasn't working for Joe at the time. Kathy Chung works for the Pentagon. You ready? Why is someone named Kathy Chung, who works for the Defense Department, moving Joe Biden's classified documents to Chinatown? The same month the Chinese were wiring the Bidens $1 million.